So if you clicked on this video, I have a question for you. If you are Canadian, do you think the rest of the world knows how pissed off we are at the United States? I think 1 year ago, when the United States really started moving to the dark side, I'll admit I felt a little bit alone in the world. We were the first target of the orange guy, and our boycott started, and it really started to get noticed around the world. And in today's video, I'm going to show you a Substack article from an Australian that's named I Effin' Love Australia on what they're seeing Canada do to stand up for themselves. I would like to thank one of our Discord viewers named Mayday 2026 for posting this up in the Discord server. It was a great read. And I'm going to read it out for everyone, because I know some of the GTL community might just be listening or also visually impaired. And I also get to practice my reading. Being in the tech industry, I actually don't get a lot of opportunity to do some public speaking or public reading. I am finding that I read way faster with my eyes than I do speak. So this will be good practice for me. And I appreciate your patience. And if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, and you want to see more from a Canadian and international perspective, without the US media bias, hit that subscribe button below so you're notified of my future videos. And if you hear a cat, it's mine, it's not yours. So don't go searching around your house for yours. Alright, so let's get started. The article is titled, Canada is quietly bankrupting American tourism one road trip at a time. And keep in mind, this article was created by an Australian. It's not created by a US citizen or even a Canadian. It's from somebody that's halfway around the world from us. And this is their observation. And shout out to all the Australians that are supporting my channel. My trip to Brisbane as well as the Gold Coast is already booked, so I'm looking forward to that in Q4. Alright, so I'm going to read it out and I'll comment along the way. Nobody fired a shot. Nobody marched. Nobody needed to. The Canadian just stopped showing up. And is costing the United States billions of dollars, and every single cent of it is absolutely deserved. Like, seriously, I just started reading and you wanted... You can hear the co-host, so if you're new here, that's my cat, so don't go searching your house. New data from Statistics Canada dropped this week, and if you're the kind of person who enjoys watching a bully get quietly, methodically, and financially destroyed by people who are too polite to scream at him, but absolutely not too polite to empty his pockets, then pour yourself a drink because this one's delicious. I like this guy's sense of humor. Canadian road trips into the US are down 35% on March 2024, not 3.5, 5%. More than a third of the common form of Canadian visitation has evaporated. Air travel from Canada to the US is down 14% year over year. Nearly a quarter of Canadian travelers have cancelled previously planned US trips entirely, not postponed, cancelled. Now let me give you my example, because what I said earlier about me going to Australia, that probably would have been a trip to the United States somewhere, maybe Palm Springs or Las Vegas or Phoenix or Scottsdale. The primary purpose for me going to Australia is for a golf trip with my friends. It used to be a frequent thing that we would do. I mean, we'd pick a destination in the States because it was close for us, get about 8 of us for 2 groups, and we just golf for the entire week. So for this year, we were like, obviously, we're not going to go to the United States. And one of my friends in Australia actually said, hey, why don't you guys come over here? So we decided, okay, let's do it. And I figured the amount of money that we're going to be spending there, I mean, between the 8 of us, when it comes to like hotels, restaurants, bars, tea times, car rental, everything that we're going to be spending there, I'm sure it's going to be well over 20 grand. And that's going to be money that the United States used to get, but they're not getting anymore. Meanwhile, Americans visiting Canada were up 4%. Canadians flying to overseas destinations were up 5%. For the 3rd consecutive month in a row, more Canadians got on a plane to literally anywhere else on the planet than drove across the border into America. Read that again. A country that shares the longest undefended border on Earth, a country whose entire geographic and cultural identity is built around the US being next door. A country where crossing the border to grab some shopping or catch a game was as normal as going to the supermarket. Those people are now more likely to fly to Europe than drive 20 minutes to the nearest American town. That's true. My friends are flying halfway around the world to go golfing. For me, it's a little bit closer. I think it's an 8-hour flight for me from Malaysia. That is not inconvenience. That's 40 million people collectively, calmly, and with devastating financial precision saying, get fucked. No protests required, no place cards, no hashtag campaigns, just millions of ordinary Canadians making ordinary decisions at the kitchen table. We're not going there this year. Book something else, and then do it again next month, and then the next month after that. Here's the bill so far. In 2024, Canadian tourists pumped $20.5 billion into the US economy. They were the single biggest source of international visitors, about 1 in 4 of every foreign traveler who set foot in America. The US Travel Association had modeled a hypothetical 10% decline and came up with a $2.1 billion loss in spending and 140,000 hospitality jobs gone. The actual 2025 decline was 22%, more than double than hypothetical. That's roughly $4.5 billion in lost visitor spending in 1 year. And 2026 is running hotter. Double-digit declines in January, double-digit in February, cumulative 2-year drops above 30%, single month with no sign of reversing. Now, I'm not going to be afraid to admit it, I actually thought 2026 would bottom out. meaning that the percentage drops year on year. I thought they would be maybe like 5%, maybe 6% at most. But to my surprise, January, February, and March has still been double digit. So I'm genuinely happy to be wrong on this part, and I'm glad the numbers are still going down. This is not a blip. This is a structural, generational realignment of Canadian behavior driven by entirely one man. A haunted Big Mac in a suit who thought he could slap tariffs on his closest ally, threatened to swallow it whole as a 51st state, humiliated its prime minister on the world stage, and that Canadians would just smile politely and keep on spending their money in Florida. Now I have to correct this person on one thing, because it isn't just one man. It's 77 million US citizens that voted him in. It's the US business owners that really don't care about Canada but still want our money. It's the tourism officials and the Chamber of Commerce and the government officials that say that we're not coming down because of the exchange rate. And the disrespect for me is when they don't want to listen or don't acknowledge why we're actually pissed off and put their own meaning to it. Like this guy here.
The other really important component to this conversation is the exchange rate. I want to say that it was right about a 70 cents to the dollar, and we have always known that that is pretty close to the bottom of the exchange rate where it just doesn't make financial sense for Canadians to shop here.
So did this guy ask a Canadian about that, or did he just make this assumption on his own? See, that's the problem that's coming up. I mean, what kind of friendship is this? When you're not going to listen to your friends and you're just going to make your own assumptions. It's like this meme that I found online. You try to explain to them you try to explain to the US every single reason why you're pissed off and why we're not, coming to their country. And at the end, it's about the exchange rate. So until this is resolved or until they understand it, I don't think any Canadians are going to be going to the United States anytime soon. Now back to the article. Mate, have you met Canadians? These are people who will drive an extra 45 minutes in a blizzard to avoid giving business to someone they don't like. They have the memory of an elephant and the patience of a glacier. They do not forget. They do not forgive. They just quietly, methodically take their wallet somewhere else and never mention it again. I think that's a very good description of Canadians. Let me know in the comments if you agree with it. And the people paying for this? Not the Mar-a-Lago crowd, not the donors, not the cabinet full of sycophants who have never worked a shift in their lives. The people who get absolutely destroyed are the waitresses in Buffalo, the hotel cleaners in Niagara Falls, and the duty-free workers in Detroit, and the small business owners in every border town who built their entire livelihood on the assumption that Canada would always be there. They're not there anymore. Now, I need to correct the person on one thing. Yes, all of these people, the waitress in Buffalo, the hotel cleaners, the duty-frees, yes, they're getting affected. But if you go down one more layer, you actually have to wonder who these people are. Because some of these people did vote for the orange guy. And for those workers that did, I have zero sympathy for them. I've done tons of reports on these businesses and people that are suffering because we're not coming down anymore. And when you find out who they voted for, and every time I always say you voted for this, so thoughts and prayers. Last paragraph of the article. Taco strikes again, except the chickening out time isn't coming from the Oval Office. It's coming from every Canadian who looked at the US road trip this year and thought, nah, I'm not going to give them my money, not while he's running the place. Canada didn't need to fire a single shot. They just turned the cars around. And they're not coming back until America earns it. I think for some Canadians, they'll never earn our trust back. And 14 months has gone by, and our habits of going to the United States have quickly gone away. Like me, for example, I forgot what it's like to go to the border and pick up a package and go to Seattle and have some Irish clam chowder. Fuck the Irish clam chowder now. But my point is that a lot of us are now forgetting what it's like to go to the United States, and we don't care anymore. People have found new places to go, whether it's within Canada or else to Europe or Australia or Asia, anywhere else. But this article is a great piece, and the reason why I wanted to show it, all the details in it are true, and I can resonate with a lot of it when he's talking about Canadians. But the biggest thing is that this article was created by an Australian, and it's his or her observations from the outside of Canada on what we are doing to the United States, and how our boycott is destroying their economy. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the world is watching, and the world is noticing what we are doing, and they are following suit as well. So to every Canadian right now that is watching this video and listening to my horrible reading, you should feel proud about what we're doing right now. Because Australia is watching, New Zealand is watching, Europe is watching, and Asia, and the rest of the world. So never let anybody tell you that our efforts are going to waste right now. Now I want to take this time to read out some of the comments from our community. It's been a while since I've done this. Because to be honest, the community's voice is just as important, if not more important than my own. So let me read out a few to you. The problem is America, not just Orange Guy. Orange Guy is just a symptom of the rot. Until Americans kick their violent addiction and tell Israel to go fuck off, nothing is going to change. And even once they do that, we still won't forget what they've done to the world with their endless wars and toxic culture. Keep boycotting until there's no such thing as America left, and start transitioning away from US tech, or at least reduce the consumption as much as possible. That comment was from Aubergine10. Apologies if I butchered it. This next one is from Brian Golly. We Canadians are polite, respectful people, but if you disrespect or insult us, you cross a line we won't accept. Orange guy threatened, insulted, issued ultimatums, put illegal, unjustified tariffs on us, threatened to kill our economy, and make us a 51st state. The damage is irreparable. We will never forget this, and we will never support your economy in any way. We are no longer allies or friends. I wish you all the consequences you deserve, as the world supports Canada and abandons America. You did this by electing the orange guy, so you deserve every consequence you receive. This next comment is from Frosted Touch 1997. Even if the orange idiot leaves the office tomorrow, I won't be able to forget how we were treated, how Greenland was treated, what they did to Venezuela and Cuba, and how they were cheered on by their voting base. I won't forget the jeering comments from the US citizens that treat us as third world country. I won't forget ICE murdering people on the streets, and how many Republican voters backed them up. I won't forget, and neither should anyone. This next one is from LCX Fleeter, who is also a member of the Guard Leave channel. Thank you for that. I grew up in Niagara, very close to the US border. I won't say I love Americans, but I admired them because they were like us. The good guys, just a little louder and more boastful. But now, after what's happened with the orange guy, reading comments and seeing how quickly some have turned on Canada and agree with the orange turd, I've changed my opinion on Americans. I don't believe I can forgive or forget, even though I have a couple friends and family who I love dearly. And I think that is the hardest part for those of us who do have family and friends in the US. We want to see them, we want to support them, but we just can't. This next one comes from FC6819. They always use the excuse that they don't want to talk about politics. They screwed the US and the world. They owe us an explanation and a huge apology. That still won't be enough. So many deaths on their hands. I'm a US citizen and I'm over it. I understand anyone in other countries being angry at our country. I'm angry too. I'll never forgive them ever. We do have to remember that we do have some friends in the United States. And people who do understand, like FC6819. But the problem is that this group is a very, very small minority in the United States. This next one is from Judy Logue. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I will boycott everything American and just spend 3 weeks in Mexico. Some Americans' responses to us that we met in Mexico were, it wouldn't be that bad if you were the 51st state and you're just like us. Sounds like my video that I had earlier. Elbows up because I will never forgive them for threatening our sovereignty and to see what they are doing to other parts of the world. We'll never trust that they won't do the same thing to us. This next one is from Carl8608. Not heartbroken, but betrayed. We won't forget. Short and simple. Alright, I have a couple more and then I'm going to end it here. Ebony Empress 385. Doesn't matter where these liars are from. I stopped listening to the American lies. Full stop. Period. We won't forget. I guess the Australian article is right. I mean, we have the memory like elephants. We won't forget. And the last one today is from Julia Miller 2299. That person in the article was once me. For many years, we went to the USA at least once a month. I had relatives who lived in the USA. Now I feel betrayed by the USA. I'm fed up with them and want nothing to do with them. I'm all for boycotting the USA. This is like a divorce, and I'm still upset and never want anything to do with them again. I think a lot of us share Julia's sentiment when it comes to the US. I mean, I've been thinking about it a lot. I mean, let's say down the road when the Democratic president does eventually go back into the office, what are my feelings going to be towards the US? The one thing I do know is I will never look at the United States the same way again. And to be honest, if I never visit again, that's fine. There's plenty of other places around the world. And one last comment, because I thought this one was pretty funny. This one's from Amphibian250. The co-host got my husband the other day. We sadly don't have a cat. I'm so allergic. So he went to open the door and then stood there looking puzzled. So yeah, sorry about that. She seems to be doing that to a lot of people, which is why I think I need to put a disclaimer at the beginning of my videos. Now, all these comments that I just read out are from the GTL community. And it's very clear to me there's one common thing here. Everyone says that they're not going to forget. And I have a feeling that when the orange guy is gone, the United States citizens are going to expect us to forget everything that has happened in 2025 and 2026. And I guess 2027 and 2028. Actually, for the foreseeable future. Mark my word, and I will put some money on this. When the orange guy is gone, the US tourism officials, the government officials, and executives, whoever these people are, they're going to be doing massive marketing and promo campaigns saying, welcome back, Canadians. Well, to that, I say fuck off. You had your chance to fix it, and unfortunately it's too late. Now, to end this video, I would like to give a big thanks to Michael for sending this photo of Quebec City. You know, I received an email from one of our viewers in the Netherlands, and they basically said that they are planning a Canada trip this year. And what they're basing their Canada trip on is all of these backdrops that I'm showing. So I want to thank Michael, as well as everyone else who has been sending me photos to help me showcase Canada to the rest of the world, and even to myself, to be honest. Like I said, I was siloed in British Columbia, and specifically more the lower mainland. So I'm learning Canada as well. So thanks again, Michael, for sending this over. Alright, that's it for today's video. If you found any value in anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international perspective, without the US media bias, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below. That way you're notified of my future videos. And if you want to see more of my videos, check out the ones that are going to show up on your screen shortly. Thanks everyone. Have a good day. You want to say anything? No? Alright. Suit yourself.